Hi, good evening, everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank you all for taking time and joining this webinar. Today, I'm here to talk about mastering observability, insights into seamless application monitoring. Myself, Ramprasad, I take care of pre-sales function at Rakuten SixthSense, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with the name Rakuten. So, who does not know about Rakuten? So, Rakuten is a Japanese conglomerate with a global presence, a diverse portfolio of 70 plus organizations worldwide. We are into e commerce, bank, credit card, and hospitality, and several other internet businesses. So, recently we have introduced Rakuten SixthSense. This is the B2B product division of Rakuten Group, and we are marking our campaign into the world of business solutions and services. Well, in today's session, I'll be taking you through the following key areas, that is like introduction to observability and what is observability, why should someone invest on observability, what are the best practices of observability, and glimpse on Rakuten SixthSense observability and what are the capabilities Rakuten SixthSense observability offers. Let's get started. So, what is the biggest challenge today in complex application landscape? So, you might have encountered issues or errors while using day-to-day apps. It might be your banking app or food ordering app. So, what happens is sometimes something suddenly goes wrong and suddenly something stops working, right? Sometimes payment gets stuck, or sometimes it is taking longer time for executions, etc., etc. So the major issue today is the unpredictability of application failures. Today's dynamic systems have the capacity to fail in remarkably creative and unconventional ways. So that is posing a significant challenge to our traditional practices, especially in the realm of monitoring. So monitoring is a reactive approach and best suited only for detecting known problems and previously identified patterns. So monitoring can detect problems and tell you whether system is working or not, right? But it also really helps, really care when there is a problem. But in other hand, observability, which is more proactive practice and allows you to get to root cause of the any problem, either known problem or unknown problem, and it will not just rely on pre-populated dashboard, which does not simply help on the scale of application landscape. So all of us know we had considerably driving innovations that has spawned several mega trends. So on one notable example is birth of microservices. That is a pivotal development in our industry. So microservices have had a significant impact on how we view and manage our infrastructure in the world of modern software development. We all know microservices promote the decomposition of a monolithic application into smaller, independently deployable services. So each microservices can have its own infrastructure requirements and technology stacks. And microservices are often deployed within the containers, which encapsulates the application and its dependencies. So container orchestration tool like Kubernetes have become essential for managing and scaling these containers. So these change in the infrastructure management is crucial for handling the dynamic nature of microservices. So as a containers can be easily created, destroyed and moved across a cluster of machines. So with microservices, it's easier to scale individual components of an application independently based on their specific needs. So this contrasts with the monolithic architecture where scaling typically involves the entire application. So all of which is caused a need for a new approach and practice called observability. So what is observability? See, it's all about data, right? So observability is based on three types of telemetry data. That is your matrices, traces, and logs. So these often are called the pillars of observability. So individually they can provide you with the information to pinpoint issues and root causes, but when taken together, their power is significantly magnified. So observability is achieved by utilizing the combinations of logs, matrices, and traces. So it's an oversimplification to define our view observability as just having these important pillars. So your matrices will tell you whether your application have any problem, and traces will tell you where exactly the problem, and your logs will tell you what is causing the problem. So use this important telemetric information to connect your dots. It's all about how you connect the dots from each of these pillars together to troubleshoot the root cause and fix the issue at the earliest. So this will help, really help to improve your mean time to detect and mean time to recover, resolve the issue. So what is the definition of observability? This is nothing but how well we know our application, right? A measure of how well we can understand a system from that work it does. For example, 90% of the methods in this service completes in under 200 milliseconds. That is a good insight for me, right? So how my methods are, how much time it is taking for execution, that information I have it. Now, the second example would be that like this API is handling 500 HTTP requests per second. So another insight of my application. And the third information would be like CPU utilization for this service is at 85%. So these level of insight will help me to understand how my application is performing. What is the health of my application? How much infra I need to add here. So all that information would help me to understand my application health, right? So observability is best suited for interrogating system to explicitly discover sources of any problem along any dimensions or combinations of dimensions without first predicting. So you may have a question now. So can we use monitoring and observability together? Yes, of course. Both monitoring and observability can work together. So observability is culture practice and allowing you to be proactive in findings instead of relying on a reactive approach that were used in the past. So monitoring best helps engineers to understand infrastructure concerns. On the other hand, observability helps developers to understand software concerns. So observability and monitoring can work together. So next topic would be why should we invest, or why should someone invest on observability, right? Let us understand why observability matters, right? It matters for both operational and business benefits. So here is a breakdown of why observability is important in both of these contexts. So first benefits would be visibility, that observability tools and practices provide a clear visibility into the performance and behavior of your applications and infrastructure. So here are some key ways in which observability enhances visibility. So first one would be like you will have a traces or distributed tracing. So that will enables you to follow the journey of request as it travels different services and components, and this is especially useful in microservices architecture. And observability solution often include the ability to map the dependencies between various components and services. Like this will help you understand the relationship within your system. Your component, one application might be talking to a different third-party systems. It might be third-party systems, or within your application landscape only, it might be talking to different services. All these dependency mapping also you will have a visibility over that as well. And the third one would be alerting. So you can configure alerts based on predefined thresholds or anomaly detections. So that is ensuring you are notified immediately when an issue arises. So the next benefits would be like real-time troubleshooting, right? So this tools provide real-time data on the state of your application and systems, and this real-time monitoring allows you to promptly detect issues as they occur. So the third would be customer experience. So this tool will include features for monitoring user experience as well, giving you insight how your application impact end users, and what is the page load time, all that information. If there is any crashes happening in the front end, so in which browser version it is happening, what is the devices, all that information normally observability tool will give you to troubleshoot that issue faster. And whenever customer experiences improves and your faster resolution, automatically it will impact positive impact on your revenue. So you will not lose your revenue, and you will keep gaining your revenue. So this tool can have a positive impact on revenue as well, so primarily by contributing to improved operational efficiency, better customer experiences, and faster issue resolution. So here is how observability can lead into increased revenue. So observability tool and practices enhance visibility by providing holistic, real-time, and in-depth view of your application and infrastructure. So this clear visibility enables you to manage and troubleshoot your system effectively, ensuring they operate at peak performance and reliability. Now let's understand what are the best practices for observability, and what are the different mandatory things or must-have things your observability tool or your observability practices should be invoked. The first best practices would be like your observable system should emit events, metrics, logs, and traces. So these information would be helpful, as I mentioned earlier, for a troubleshooting purpose, right? So whenever there is an issue occurs, or whenever the issue is reported by your end user, so these information will help your developers or SRE engineers to troubleshoot the issue. So observable system should emit metrics, logs, and traces. So example are as follows, like logs will tell you the database won't start after the update, or matrices like our application is 35% slower than last week after this configuration change. So that kind of information, your observable system should throw that information to your SRE engineers. And what are the dependencies for these services? That your traces will tell you what are the dependable services and how each that dependable services are performing. What is the health of that each services? How fast it is responding to the queries. So all that information you will have. That is how your observability system should be, sir. Your observability system should be. That should it should give you all inside all these levels, right? So that is how it should be. The next best practice would be like all the components should be instrumented in your application landscape. All the components, it might be your mobile application or your front end application or your VMs, database. So all these components should be instrumented, because we don't know where exactly the problem occurs. It might be at database level, or it might be at your VM level where CPU utilization is high and it's not able to execute some your methods or some queries. So when every component is instrumented, you will have a more visibility where exactly the problem is occurring, whether it is a front end side or whether it is in the back end service which you are using, or any third party services you are calling. For example, you might be using payment gateway services, right? So now payment gateway has a problem, or it might be internally your another service which you are calling for some resources, and that service is not responding. So in that case, you will have a clear visibility when you are instrumenting all the components in your ecosystem. So that would be the second best practice for your application monitoring. And the next one would be like instrumentation should not be opt-in, manual, or hard to do. So whatever it might be, agent-based solutions or serverless. So whatever it should not be a opt-in or manual, right? So whenever one agent is installed in your application server, it should automatically detect all the application components like endpoints in that application, and how many instances are there. It should automatically detect all that instances, and the database, it might be, you might be connecting multiple databases, right? So the request might be going from your application to multiple databases. So it's not easy to select those databases and do instrumentation. It should be automatically done by that agent, whatever agent you are adding in your application server. The agent should be able to automatically detect all the endpoints. So sometimes what happens is in a few of the application, I might have 100 to 200 endpoints, right? So in that case, I can't individually select one by one endpoints and add these agents to monitor that endpoint. So this application, the agent which is sitting in the application layer itself has to detect all these endpoints, and it start monitoring those endpoints, how that is performing, what is the response time of that endpoint, how many errors are there in that endpoint. Similar way, the database also. So I may have a number of databases which my application is talking to. So I can't opt in. So these need to be instrumented kind of things. It should be like automatically detect those databases, how many requests are going to that databases. So and which are the slow performing queries in that specific database. All that should be done automatically by the agent. So that would be the best practice, another best practice of your observability system. I hope you enjoyed the session, and the insights on observability and its benefits, best practices are helpful. Let me just walk you through Rakuten SixthSense observability and its capabilities. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, Rakuten SixthSense is a B2B business product division of Rakuten Group. And the first product of Rakuten SixthSense is Rakuten SixthSense Observability. So here it's a purely agent based solution. So agent will sit in your application server and it will collect different matrices, and it will send it to our backend engine, and it will help you to identify the problem areas. This is the observability solution, and it will give you the traces, complete traces, and slow performing queries, and in VMs, what is the CPU utilization, what is the RAM utilization, and database related KPIs. All that information the Rakuten SixthSense observability provide for you to monitor your applications. It might be your front end application. So if there is any error in the front end application, but it is caused because of your backend service layer, where we provide that correlation from the backend to front end to back end, and from your backend service to infrastructure correlation. All these new features are available in Rakuten SixthSense observability. Anyone want to explore SixthSense observability for your application monitoring, please get in touch with me. I have added my email ID at the end. You can just email me. And finally, I want to touch upon Rakuten SixthSense capabilities. So as I mentioned earlier, so we are capable of monitoring your backend services, that is application performance monitoring. We can monitor .NET services, Java services, it might be a PHP or Python, all that can be monitored. And other capabilities are like we have a infrastructure monitoring capabilities. We can monitor databases, and your application servers can be monitored. And we also have VM monitoring capabilities where you can monitor your Windows or Linux machines. And we also have web server monitoring capability, and browser monitoring, and synthetic monitoring. If you want to run a synthetic test from different locations and from for different time range, you can also do that with the synthetic monitoring capabilities. And we also have mobile monitoring capabilities for your iOS and Android apps. We can monitor your iOS and Android app. And alerts management, we have you can configure alerts on different threshold, and the alerts will be triggered in different notification channels. Currently we have email notifications, and we have a Slack integrations, and SMS notification can be triggered. And if you want to integrate with any third party tools, we have a webhook options where you can just configure the webhooks and data will be posted to the third party applications. We also have a feature of ML based anomaly detection and forecasting. And anyone is interested, or if you want to explore more on Rakuten SixthSense observability, feel free to connect me with my email ID ramprasad.b@rakuten.com. Also, you can visit our sixthsense.rakuten.com website where you can fill the form, and our team will be connected with you. And once again, thank you everyone for joining this session. Hope all of you enjoyed, and thank you once again. Thank you. Bye bye.